The latest watch from the collaboration between Swatch and Blancpain is coming soon to the stores. It is called Green Abyss, and what I see is that people have started refreshing the conversations about the 50 Fathoms line. A lot of disagreements, criticism, and of course the most important question, is it worth paying $400 for any of these watches? Now, for those who like watching only the first 15 seconds of videos, I'm going to be very short and straightforward. Yes, it is definitely worth buying this watch. For deep divers, stay tuned because we have better content coming up. Featuring a mechanical movement that has a 90 hours of power reserve is something quite significant. I mean, there are lots of luxury watches out there that have 40-50 hours of power reserve only, but here we are talking about 90 hours, and all thanks to the System 51 movement, which by the way was developed by Swatch itself. Now, why do we call it 51? Because the movement has only 51 parts inside. For comparison, take this. Usually regular watches with no complications, their movements have like 120 to 150 parts. So this is a very tiny movement, but the watch itself is very beautiful. I checked out the other day in the store the Green Abyss watch, and the bezel has this premium feel, and on the case back, on the rotor, you will see the sea creature painted. And here's the catch. So basically, if you are buying the Arctic Ocean watch, which is one of the 50 Fathoms watches, on the back you will see a sea slug which lives in the Arctic Ocean. So this is very interesting and truly meaningful, which connects the Swatch versions of this iconic watch to the Blancpain history and its philosophy. I understand that when you buy a mechanical watch, you want it to serve you as long as it's possible. And that's why we take care of our watches, service them every 5 or 10 years. And people have this frustration that why would I even be happy to buy a mechanical watch that is unserviceable? Now, this is true because the 50 Fathom watches by Swatch and Blancpain have sealed movements. And this is true for every other Swatch watch. But if you want to look at this from the bright side of the story, is that, you know, it's good because at least no external particles or dust could enter into the movement, which naturally prolongs the life of the watch. On the other hand, if you want to buy a watch that you could be wearing for decades and then leaving it to your children, I think you are looking at the wrong watch. That's not the Swatch, whether it's 50 Fathoms or the Moon Swatch or any other Swatch. The counter argument is that, okay, if I'm gonna pay $400, at least I'm gonna buy a real diving watch from, let's say, Seiko at the same price range. Honestly, I don't know what you mean by saying real diving watch in this case, but I think every watch buyer must ask a question themselves, which is, what do I want from my watch? For me personally, and I know that many other people too, one of the significant factors is the story behind the watch. What does the watch tell about itself, about the time it was created, you know, about the philosophy of the watchmaker, and so on. The watch must be a conversation starter. Forgive me, but I don't think that any Seiko in this price range would start a conversation. I don't think that it will draw people's attention on your wrist, but the 50 Fathoms watches certainly will do. If you are looking for a watch that is a conversation starter, I'm sure this is the right choice for you. The problem can be the material, by the way, because I know that some people think that, you know, if you want a real watch, that must be stainless steel or, you know, other solid material. And in this case, Swatch is using Bioceramic. About this material, I am watching some videos on YouTube, and reviewers are using, like, they're saying, you know, the material of these 50 Fathoms watches is Bioceramic. I mean, what is wrong with these fingers? Bioceramic is a real material. 2/3 of this material is ceramic, and 1/3 is biosourced polymer. Now, this is not the same plastic. In fact, it has more flexibility and allows to create, you know, better shapes for the watches. By the way, it is patented by Swatch. When it comes to the strap of the watches, Blancpain has dedicated so much efforts and contributions to the conservation of the marine environment, and creating these straps from the fishing nets of the oceans is message to send to the world, you know, and to young generations who are going to wear these watches. So no need to complain that, oh, the NATO strap doesn't look premium. Why would it look premium? If you want a premium looking watch, you have to go and buy a real Blancpain. But if you are wearing the Swatch collaboration, then it shouldn't have a premium look. And I know that many people don't like this collaboration because they're like, oh, you know, why would Blancpain put their logo on a Swatch watch, because it dilutes the sense of luxury that this watchmaker has. And this is a topic for discussion, really. You know, I'm a marketing specialist, and I never think that this dilutes the authority of Blancpain. In 2017, Louis Vuitton collaborated with Supreme. It's a streetwear brand, and they created a clothing line, and people loved this. But today, no one thinks that, oh, you know what, Louis Vuitton is not a good brand because it collaborated with Supreme. No one thinks about that. Another example, Dior collaborated with Nike. Why did Blancpain put its logo on a Swatch watch? Because it's a collaboration. It's a completely different thing when we say, you know, Longines has created watches that look like the Cartier Tank because it's a homage watch, right? But this is not the case. This is a collaboration. One thing that is clear for me is that if someone is a true fan of Blancpain, and if they already have one of their iconic watches, they wouldn't be sad about this collaboration, because that's okay, that's good. Let other people who don't have enough money to pay like $10,000-$15,000, let them have it, and let it be an attraction for them to save some money to buy the real one in a few years. This is a beautiful thing, and I think the time, of course, will show how this will pay off for the Swatch Group. But one thing is certain, that when you look at the search trends on Google, there is a significant increase in the interest about Blancpain, and that's what the watchmakers need. That's what the industry needs. So this is all what I wanted to talk about. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. And I will see you next week with another interesting topic.